place a lot of hope in education in this country as an avenue for social mobility. If we help disadvantaged youth to make it to college and then to graduate from college, then we would promote social mobility. Research from the 1970s found support for this belief that we have that a college degree would increase mobility. People that had a high school education or some college but no degree, mobility was very limited. Among those with a college degree, mobility was much higher because it provided the necessary skills for people to succeed in the labor market, regardless of their social origins, family connections, and all those factors that have very little to do with your ability to do the job. Making it to college was then, and still is now, very much dependent on family background. What this finding means, however, is once people made it to college and graduated, their social backgrounds didn't matter anymore for how well they did in life. A college degree was, at the time, the great equalizer, or in other words, it provided an answer to the old question about how to overcome disadvantaged origins. A college degree can do it. Many things have changed since the 1970s. So my question is whether or not the college degree today is still the great equalizer. The way I addressed this question was to use 5 large nationally representative data sets. So the answers represent the entire American population. I need data sets that include information on parents and on children when they're adults. So I choose data sets that follow families over a long period of time. So for this research, I used the panel study of income dynamics. I used the General Social Survey, the National Longitudinal Survey of Youth, the 79 cohort. I used the Baccalaureate and Beyond survey. And finally, the National Longitudinal Survey original cohort. So we measure mobility in a 0 to 1 scale. So 1 means a perfect immobility. So that's a situation in which if your parents were located in the bottom income decile, you yourself will be also located in the bottom decile. If your parents were at the median, you will be at the median. If your parents were in the top decile, you would be at the top. What I found is that for those with less than a high school diploma, their association is 0.24. For those with a high school diploma, it drops to 18. That means more mobility, right? For those with some college, it is 0.19. And then for those with a BA, it substantially drops to 0.09. So that means that as in the 1970s, a college degree remains a great equalizer. However, among those who have an advanced degree, the association between their parents' income and their own income jumps again to 0.33. It is true that a small proportion of people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds make it to graduate school and attain an advanced degree. And what happens to them is that they don't do very well. They don't do nearly as well as people who come from advantaged backgrounds. So why is that, right? My research suggests that there are 3 factors that contribute to the immobility among those who attain an advanced degree. The first one is the selectivity of the school they attend. The second one is the field of study and the degree they attain. And the third one is the occupation, the job they take after graduation. Among those who get an advanced degree, those who come from disadvantaged backgrounds are much more likely on average to attend schools with low levels of selectivity. They're also more likely to choose fields of study and degrees that don't maximize their chances of socioeconomic success. In contrast, people with an advanced degree who come from advantaged backgrounds tend to go to very lucrative fields, professional fields such as medicine, law, and business. And as a consequence of that, the jobs these two groups take are very different. Advantaged people take jobs that are much more lucrative than people who come from disadvantaged backgrounds. We as a society may consider policies that would help youth that come from disadvantaged backgrounds to go to college, to stay in college, to graduate in time and without an overwhelming amount of debt so that they can benefit from the mobility returns of a college degree. If we want youth from disadvantaged backgrounds to reap the rewards of attaining an advanced degree, then students from disadvantaged backgrounds need to have the skills and also the knowledge about the educational system that would allow them to navigate this system as they move on in their educational careers. This matters because the number of people who are attaining an advanced degree is small but is growing. So if they're not prepared to make the best decisions in terms of the trajectory they choose and their occupation, then this is a missed opportunity for them, but also for the country.